What event happened in your life which caused some character development for you? I lost my fiancée 3 months after we were engaged to a car accident. She had an 8-year-old son who I'm now raising because his dad split. I have no other kids. My super healthy husband woke up one morning with sudden vision loss. He lost 95% of his vision due to optic neuritis. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis a few weeks later. I was 14 weeks pregnant with our first son. I went from carefree to my life crumbling, and it was scary. Those weeks before his diagnosis were spent being terrified that I was going to lose him. We're 6+ years into the manuscript life, and, while it's incredibly difficult, overall I'm very happy and content with our life. He used to be my rock, the stronger of us, and when he got sick, our roles were reversed. I've had to learn how to be patient not only with him, but with myself. I try to find the positive side of things. When I make mistakes I no longer beat myself up, I allow myself to be a human. I understand that every day has an opportunity to learn and show compassion to others, even when I'm not given the same consideration. You never know what is going on in another's life. We lost our house and car in the same year. Had next to nothing to eat most nights. Barely made it through, but we did. I was 12. It changed the way I did things. It definitely changed me for the better. Having a heart attack helped me become more chilled out. I don't really stress about things like I used to. Spent 2 years on the streets. Made me turn my life around. A friend of mine died, and he was one of the honestly good people, easy to talk to, and he went out of his way to do good things for others. He generally made life better. Then he passed away, and I realized life is as short as it is unfair. It doesn't care how valued you are. When it's your time to go, you'll just go. Nothing anyone can do about it. Edit. Wow, this blew up, and I wasn't even on Reddit. Right when I finished university, my mom left my dad, and he tried to hang himself, which got him put in a mental institution. I had to take the decisions for him, talk with the doctor, decide if he was ready to get out. Got me growing up pretty suddenly. Everything's fine today. Divorce. High school sweethearts together 17 years. Made me look at my own self, flaws and character, and who I want to be, and also learn from past life and relationship mistakes which I could previously not see while still in that situation. At the same time, learned from the excess actions things that I will never allow to be a part of my character or let myself be involved in the future. One day, toward the end of shift, we had a car accident victim that came in. It was a pregnant female, probably 30s. She wasn't too bad, but she was going to hurt. The baby was fine. What'll got me is that her 4-year-old son came along too. The kid didn't realize have any injuries aside from some bruising. Given that dad was apparently still at the accident site, I sat and kept the kid preoccupied. He was a bright, fun little kid. He loved Marvel, especially the Hulk. We made action figures out of printer paper and were having a real good time. He loved his future little brother to death. Too, he was super determined to be the best big brother ever. But then he let slip what was happening before the accident. Apparently mom and dad were in an argument prior to the accident and dad hit mom just before, which is what caused it. Dad stayed with the car because he was getting arrested. Mom eventually called grandma to pick up her son and take him to her house. Just being in that situation and being the one to hear that from a child you've known for maybe 15 minutes, it made me want to go to war for that child. It honestly really made me rethink the way I look at kids. I hope he's doing better, and I hope he does great things. Most importantly, I hope he's somewhere safe. Looking at family and seeing where 50 years of hate towards others and anger gets you, and realizing I was starting that path. Edit. I should also clarify the comment on anger isn't necessarily related to anything in particular. I just mean being angry in general. Angry about politics, angry about what someone said or did, angry about something small that happened in traffic or during the day, just angry and happy to hold decade-long grudges for something small. Moved to a foreign country across the globe to work. I didn't know anybody when I first came here, but it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. Quite proud of myself tbh, and I'm still learning How to completely function as an independent adult. My dad tried to kill me 3 times when I was 10. It kissed goodbye to my innocence and faith in people. After an easy life, I dropped out of college and my 3 years relation ended almost at the same time. I have been depressed since then, and I haven't been able to do anything with my life. Thought myself as a loser, and that I couldn't reach anything ever. Lost my friends and almost my family. Ended practically alone with my computer all day. The second event, entered a therapeutic center, where I have been for the last 6 months. Life changer. I have learned so much about myself, and how to handle anything life throws at me. Currently in college again, making friends and healing old relationships. Happier than ever. My dad died in a motorbike accident when I was 14. I was already deep within my emo phase back in 2007, and it caused me to develop some reckless and pretty sad character traits for quite some time. It led to me ruining my education and dropping out of university after 2 years due to depression and anxiety. All I was doing really was drinking and partying and avoiding issues in my life. It's all turned around now, and I've learned to embrace my past without regret. I've worked for some cool companies, and now I'm traveling the world with my partner. But I do wonder how my life would be like if it hadn't had happened. Long-term girlfriend cheats on me, breaks up with me, we get back together, to couples therapy, get engaged, she comes out as poly, we call off the wedding. My mom struggled with controlling her drinking for years. It's part of what led to my parents' marriage falling apart, and it's something that's affected my relationship with her. Because she's really good at hiding her drinking, I've become sensitized to it. I find myself fixating on how much wine is in her glass, how/when she refills it, that sort of thing. Anyhow, many years after the divorce, I'm having dinner with my dad and stepmom. At one point I catch my dad glancing at my beer, and I swear, it felt like he was doing exactly what I do with my mom, just carefully, surreptitiously keeping tabs on my drinking. He has since denied it, or at least doing it consciously, but I have that little moment, that glance of his, burned in my memory. Mind you, I've never had a drinking problem, never given my dad cause to be concerned. But in that moment I knew that I never wanted that dynamic to become a thing between my dad and I. It was a shared behavior we both had from dealing with the pain of my mom's drinking, and it wasn't a good thing. That was the last drink I had, 8 years ago. Finally mustered the courage to try stand-up comedy. Had been writing, studying, and imagining performing stand-up for years, and the day I first actually tried it was phenomenal for me personally. As someone with a lot of social anxiety, getting into comedy has done wonders in my efforts to become more extroverted. I just had to kick my 28-year-old son out of my life. He is not a nice person. Tuesday this week, my fiancée, ex, called me up and confessed she cheated on me with her ex-partner on this Friday gone. Bear in mind that I was out of the country from the Thursday until Tuesday. She told me on the last night/morning. When I was 22, my then boyfriend of 4 years broke up with me with no real explanation beyond "I don't love you anymore." It felt out of the blue at the time, but perspective and the passage of time has helped me to see it was a long time coming. Anyway, since I had no explanation at the time, I forced myself to take a long, hard look at myself, and I resolved to become a better person. I went out of my way to try new things, have new experiences, be kinder and more patient with others. I'm still not perfect. I still have my moments where my character flaws come through, but I still think I have grown and matured quite a bit in the 4 years since it all happened. I think it's that change that led me to my husband and the happiness I've found with him. I was accused of sexual assault of a minor. Completely untrue, and there was a witness and video evidence that nothing happened. But the father of the minor went off half-cocked about a misunderstanding of events, and he never paused to consider anything other than what he'd jumped to in his mind. Even after his own child tried to tell him he was wrong, he semi-abusively shut the minor up. I even sat down with him with a mediator to talk about it, and he was still barking and threatening weeks later, but never filed anything with police. I learned that some people just want to assert what little bit of authority they can scrape together over you to put you in a state of fear. At that point, there's no benefit in poking the bear any further, but politely walk away, disengage, de-escalate, or let them get their barking over with. Realizing that the only person you can 100% rely on is yourself. On my 10th birthday I was riding my bike through my neighborhood. Riding super fast, my pant leg gets stuck in my chain, causing me to fall down into a creek. Moments later a Mormon family comes running down to me and starts praying and telling me it's going to be okay. They ask me if I was a child of God and if I've ever been to church. Me being raised in a household that never really talked about religion, I said no. Then they ****king walk away. So I'm stuck in this creek for a good 30 minutes. Managed to get home late for my birthday party. Ever since then I was scared to ride a bike. Mom died when I was 10. Dad married my stepmom when I was 11. Got really miserable and realized nothing really matters. After my terrible breakup and realizing no one was coming to save me, now I use it as motivation. No one is coming to save me, so I need to handle it. When I was almost 14, the pastor of my parents' church called to say the parish organist had died suddenly and asked if I could take over temporarily. There I was, a kid who'd just played his first public recital that year, taking over a challenging music program with a fine reputation and talented, seasoned singers. Somehow, though, I decided to summon the courage and acquire whatever skills necessary to do the job well and to rise to the occasion. It was a defining moment, one that set me on course for a rewarding career. I failed out of college. I basically had to build myself back up from square one. I'm nothing like I was before that day. My father having me falsely arrested when I moved out of his house when I was 18. It made me realize in a very short time that I was more self-sufficient than I thought. I got divorced and retired from the military. I sleep so much better. My first breakup. I had so many people come out of the woodwork with support and whatnot, but also with heavy criticism of her. Things like she was controlling or she was manipulative, and my parents had the best. We wanted to tell you, but we knew you wouldn't listen because you were young and in love. I gained a newfound trust in my parents at 18. As a result, I also reflected on that relationship and was able to identify the times where I really manipulated or controlled and developed a more assertive nature. Up until then I tried to be non-confrontational in the relationship because I didn't want to upset her. That translated into healthier relationships in the future. When I was 16 I watched a school play The Laramie Project. My friends were all going the next night, but I had something going on, so I decided to go by myself. I sat in front row and center. I cried so much when Matthew Shepard's death was described. No, I bawled. Like ugly crying, all by myself. How could someone do that to another person? That play changed me. I saw that we need to be kind to one another. We're all going to be different. We don't always have to agree, but we need to be kind. I got bullied a lot, and this might sound glitch, but my solace was Spider-Man comic books. I thought he was so cool, and he got bullied too. I hoped that one day I could become Spider-Man and beat up my bullies. I never did turn into Spider-Man, but when I hit puberty I grew. I went from small chubby kid to a 64 teenager. I was still bullied, but at one point I was done. My bully grabbed me in a chokehold. I snapped, elbowed him, and smashed his face against the wall, and punched him again, broke his jaw. I came to my senses in the dean's office. She wasn't angry or anything. She calmly told me what I did, and how she understood something like that didn't come from nothing. I never fought again, but I did make the promise to never ever get bullied again. If someone else gets bullied I can't take that stuff either. If it's in my power to stop it, then I should. I live by the lines of Spidey's saying, with great power comes great responsibility. My last breakup a bit over 2 years ago. ****KED me up really bad. I thought she'd be the love of my life, and she said she felt the same, just to be dumped from one day to the NXT, quite literally. Close bracket. After plummeting deeper and deeper into depression I found out on her wedding day 3 months after the breakup that she had married some rich guys 15 years her senior. That was when I hit rock bottom. Christmas and New Year that year were tough, but fortunately I had some really good friends by my side to help me get through it. At the start of 2017 I decided to get my life back together. I began therapy and finally faced the demons of my past. Abusive stepfather, indifferent mother, identity/racial/social issues, etc. I started a new job that I really like, and at the end of 2017 I finally found my own place after living in a residential community for too many years. Nowadays I'm still in therapy, but I'm in a much better place mentally and emotionally. The S***T. That breakup forced me to look at myself without a mask on, and I realized that I had to make a change to get better again. Although I know there is still a long way to go to get to terms with the past, I'm looking forward to the journey knowing that I'll eventually get there. Robbed at gunpoint. Daughter diagnosed terminally ill. Got laid off. Wife cheated. The last episode of Lost. Ku lost. Son was born with a brain injury. Wife and him almost died during birth and he'll have severe disabilities for his likely shorter than average life. The character change was that many things you think are stressful and important in life are not. Your kid made the B squad and not the A. Good for him. He can play sports with his health working body. I missed my flight. K it. I'll get the next one. Your baby room color theme isn't exactly perfect. That literally never mattered to anyone but you. You get the point. College. Was dating this wonderful young lady. We were fighting. I called her up and explained my point of view. When I was done I waited for her to respond. She did. With this, just because you're ready to talk doesn't mean I am. Learned a lot about patience, timing, and the tenderness needed in relationships. Kids. You've never know fear until you've had little people that rely solely on you for their existence. My dad was an abusive drunk who used to beat me, my mum and my brother senseless. My mum used to have to put sleeping pills in his drink to settle him, so he wouldn't hit us anymore. Me and my brother used to lay on top of my mum to protect her from his beatings. I've swore my whole life never to be like that. He never done anything for us. My mum done everything. Bought every present. Organized every event. Took us everywhere. He'd done nothing but drink, take pills and be a violent idiot. Both myself and my brother have grew up to be the opposite of that. We've already done more for our children than has ever done for us. Well, saw combat as a corpsman. That certainly changed some things in me. Married way too young to someone who was older, more controlling and incredibly manipulative. Lessons learned from that. And I have kids. So I literally went from spending stupid amounts of money on video games to one. And I was addicted to heroin and then got sober. 5+ years now, and a lot of development as a When I was a teenager I had bad problems with depression and anxiety that led to There were many times I imagined killing myself, and one night I was set on doing it. Came home drunk and sad, and started cutting myself, which was one of my methods. I sat in my bed crying, trying to find the courage to cut deeper and end it. Then my dog Snippy hopped up on the bed and put his head on my lap. Thanks to him, I realized that I just couldn't do that to him or to my pet. He saved my life that night. The next day I decided to open up. That little moment I shared with sometimes all it takes is a reminder that someone. My mum had a new boyfriend from when I was 9 to 16. He was a huge C***T to me, and sometimes we moved house twice and some of us moved school once, so he was closer to work. Fair enough. If any of us were being that. One time I forgot to do the dishwasher. I was 14 and I'm on the autistic spectrum, so dude walks into my room, physically pulls me to the kitchen, and asks me, well, I said yes, I have others as well. He got pissed and took my phone off me for From that I learned how to deal with difficult people. He left at 16, thank God. I'm 20 now, and learned from the new partner how a man should really act. A terrible year. Found out I was pregnant, pressured to marry the guy, barely knew him. I've overcome it all through baby steps and now I feel I can solve any problem this world throws. Bring it. Husband is, I think, either a sociopath or narcissist. Wait, no, don't bring it please. I'd like a break now. Make sure to like and subscribe for more daily content. Thanks for watching.